Hi everyone, my name is Erica Fonseca. My example of the LMX theory is going to be me being a winter staffer at one of the hospitals that I work at and the charge nurses for the unit. So part of the in-group was going to be the charge nurses, which at the time when I started, it was just the director, no managers, and charge RNs, which day and night, they pretty much ran the unit day and night. So, and I guess part of the in-group would also be the full-time bedside nurses. But for the most part, it's going to be the charge RNs that have the most influence over the director and with the director. They have personal access to them. They have ownership of the unit. They, do what they can to make sure that the organization is running the way it should. So they have a common goal, and they're committed to that. They help make decisions. They feel empowered. They're aware of what's going on in the unit, and there is communication between the director and the nurses, charge RN, sorry. They're acknowledged for their work well done, and they are probably given opportunities to move up on the clinical ladder. Some cons that I noticed, though, for this type of setup is they're very cliquish, and there is some favoritism, some biases, and almost like discrimination. More on like not necessarily ethnicity or race. It's more of personalities. I think that they may clash with the bedside nurses or winter staffing and the charge RNs. So sometimes it seems like the charge nurses have a little bit of a power trip, sometimes abuse of their power, because they have had such a high influence on everything going on in the unit. Some pros for being in the out group, which I felt I was part of as a winter staffer. I get to stay out of politics of the unit. There's flexibility. I can choose how involved I want to be and how little I want to be. I go in, do my job, go home, and not even worry about what's going on in the unit. But I feel like a pro is also because of that, I can focus on my job that I was hired to do to the best of my ability, and I don't have to be worried about taking care of other duties that I may have been volunteered for or assigned. So some cons for being in the out group are going to be your commitment is questioned. They may not listen to you because they're like, oh, you're just here for a little bit. You're not here for the long haul. So, they question you. You feel left out. I mean, you're not included. I guess that's more like it. You're not included in their social activities or any activities that they may have. So you don't necessarily feel empowered. You don't feel like you can make a difference. And then your work is not acknowledged, usually, because again, they just see you as you're just there for a paycheck. Like you have no, commitment to them, and which I felt was not the case, with me. I'm there to help them, and that's why, and that was my contribution to improving their organization or their unit. So I have this nurse that I met at this hospital, and I think she'd been there maybe a year as a full-time bedside nurse, very involved, very active in, making sure things were being done right. If she found any mistakes, she reported them right away and, addressed them to where some changes were made in the unit because of her discoveries. And she confided in me that she had wanted to apply for the clinical manager positions, which she did not get. There were two other nurses that ended up getting those positions. And she said that she had gone to speak to the director, and she almost felt like discouraged by the director, and so she didn't apply. And I think at that point that would bring in the whole, interaction between the leader and a follower. Maybe it was a personality conflict, or maybe the director didn't feel confident in if that this nurse could do that job. So that was my other example. Okay, so my question is does LMX theory resonate with your beliefs regarding effective management and leadership? Thanks, bye.